Mesdames et messieurs, chers collègues.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, a very good morning. I call to order the 22nd meeting of the Economic and Social Council at its 2018 session. This morning, the Council will continue its consideration of Agenda Item 8, Integration Segment. We will be holding a discussion this morning in Session 3 entitled Balancing Infrastructure Development and Sustainability. Session 3 will therefore address the challenge of sustainable and resilient infrastructure in several areas, including health, education, energy, transport, security, and public institutions. Several cities around the world have rolled out multi-stakeholder strategies, setting out roadmaps with solutions to their resilience challenges. And I think we've just seen some examples from the video we've just seen. The discussion will address how these strategies relate to the national, regional, and international levels, as well as highlighting the importance of inclusiveness in building resilient societies. The session will also address the increasing challenge of citizen security and cybercrime, particularly through the discussion of opportunities and risks of technology-enabled public services, as, for example, in smart cities. This session consists of two panel discussions. It is now my pleasure to welcome our distinguished panelists and discussants for the first panel. First of all, Mr. Youssef Al-Sharabi, Mayor of Amman, Mr. Christopher Williams, Director of the New York Office of the United Nations Human Settlements Program, and Ms. Nancy Odendahl, Associate Professor at the School of Architecture, Planning and Geomatics of the University of Cape Town, South Africa. I also have the pleasure to welcome our discussants. His Excellency Mr. Young Jinga, Permanent Representative of Romania to the United Nations, who is also the chair of the Commission on Population and Development at its 51st session, and Mr. Nicolas Hannigan, Deputy Permanent Representative of Iceland to the United Nations, and chair of the Commission for Social Development at its 56th session. I also have the pleasure to introduce and welcome our moderator for both panels, Mr. Michael Shank, Communications Director at the Carbon Neutral Cities Alliance. Without further ado, I therefore turn the meeting over to the moderator to start the first panel discussion.
Shank.
Thank you so much. Good morning. So I love a conversation about cities and sustainability and resilience because that's my job. I work with the Carbon Neutral Cities Alliance, which is a collaboration, a global collaboration of cities that have committed to the most ambitious targets out there, 100% GHG reduction by 2050, 100% renewable energy, zero waste. You name the high ambition target and our cities have committed to it. So I love this discussion. I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me as moderator for both panels. I want to give two quick news anecdotes before we jump into the key questions that will guide the discussion. So I flew in from Vermont this morning, where I live mostly off the grid with my solar panels. I haven't gotten to zero waste yet, but I hope to soon. So I'm trying to walk the talk as much as possible, although the flight in, I suppose, offsetting those carbon emissions is the key question there. But thinking about resilience and sustainability in this metro region, it took me 2 hours to get from Newark International Airport by train to here at the UN headquarters. Should have taken about half that. And so as I'm headed towards a conversation about resilience and sustainability, very, very mindful of some of the hiccups and obstacles and challenges faced here in our own backyard. So let's think about that. Second news item, in the US, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, in the years between 2004 and 2016, there was a three times uptick in vector-borne diseases stemming from ticks and mosquitoes. So as we think about our traditional security threats, I find it interesting, it's the little guys, the little ticks and mosquitoes, which we have plenty of in Vermont, unfortunately, in my backyard too, that will maybe pose the greatest security threat going forward given climate change. So we have plenty to work with every day, and let's have these questions guide our discussion today. I'm very honored to be on a panel with three doctors, so we're going to have a hopefully smart but practical conversation, not too academic, I don't think. The key questions to guide the discussion are this: what approaches have cities and countries taken to design resilient and sustainable infrastructure? What challenges have been encountered and how have they been addressed? What role can technology-enabled solutions play in this regard? And what measures can cities take to secure citizen safety and smart infrastructure? And what I'd like you to do is this. Given that we are all here and have the opportunity and the good fortune to be here in this conversation, how do we take this conversation outside these walls? And I'm most interested in how do we build the public and political will to get these solutions done in our cities and our countries, to get them implemented, manifested in our cities and countries. How do we build the public and political will? So what I'd like you to do, if you're willing, is the following. In both panels, for those of you who will be here for both panels, when you hear an idea that you like, a solution to any of those questions that I just mentioned, when you hear a solution, you're like, oh, that's an interesting solution, I didn't know that. Or, oh, that's an interesting solution, I'd love to do that in my city. Could you please, via your favorite social media or email, social media handle, let's say it's Twitter, let's say it's Instagram, let's say it's Facebook, do the following. So capture that solution, ideally the person enunciating and elucidating that solution, and then either target one of the following 4 Ps: a policymaker, a member of the press, a member of the private sector, or a member of the public. Policymaker, press, private sector, public, 4 Ps, and say, hey, this is an idea, this is a solution that we should implement. If we can take some of this energy, some of these ideas, out beyond these walls, using social media, taking a picture here for Twitter, for Instagram, for Facebook, and then tagging through the handles any of the following 4 Ps, that would be great. I find when I teach at NYU that I keep coming up with the known problems and the known solutions. And the solutions mentioned today may not be new to any of us. We generally know the problems. The ticks and the mosquitoes are killing us slowly but surely. We know the solutions. What we need to do, most importantly, is build the public and political will to get to those solutions. And I'd be curious from the presenters today how they're also building the public will among their constituencies. How are they mobilizing attitudes and behaviors so that we can get some of these solutions manifested in our cities and countries? So I would encourage the presenters, if you have a Twitter handle or Instagram handle or Facebook, to mention that so that when all of you, hopefully, are identifying their solutions, tagging their solutions, loving on their solutions, that you're able to use their handle and say, Dr. Williams just came out with this great idea at whatever your Twitter handle is, Dr. Williams. And if I am saying something brilliant, Michael_Shank is my Twitter. Michael John Shank is my Instagram. You can see lots of pictures of goats up on my farm in Vermont there. But no, seriously, I encourage the presenters, if they have a Twitter handle, Instagram handle, Facebook handle, to mention that as they're presenting so that we can mobilize the publics, mobilize the political will to manifest these solutions in our cities and countries. So, with that, let's get started. We'll go in order of the program. We'll have His Excellency Dr. Al-Shawarbe present first, followed by Dr. Williams, and then followed by Dr. Odendahl, each presenting 5 to 7 minutes, and then I'll have the discussants discuss afterwards. All right, His Excellency, over to you.